Question 10, which function has the same zeros as h of x equals x squared minus 4 multiplied by x squared minus 9? I'm going to first graph this in the calculator. If you have a graphing calculator, this is the easiest way to do it. If you don't, I will show you an alternate way to solve it in just a second. But we're going to type those in and we're going to graph it. I just realized my window is set wrong. If your window is also set wrong, hit zoom 6 and that'll fix it. And you can tell the graph is a little stretched out version because my viewing window is different than the answer choices, but it's pretty clear to see that this second choice looks like a W is the correct answer. But let's say you did not have a graphing calculator. How would we solve this? So the first thing I notice is the lead coefficient in this problem, like the number in front of that initial parenthesis, there's technically not a number, so it's an assumed positive 1. But the fact that it's an assumed positive 1 tells me this graph has to be facing up in some form or fashion. So right off the bat, that rules out the first answer choice and the last answer choice. So to verify that it is this W-shaped graph, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each factor, starting with x squared minus 4, setting it equal to 0. And I'm going to solve this using the square root method. Add 4 to both sides, and we get x squared equals positive 4. Finally, we'll take the square root of both sides, and when we take the square root of both sides, we end up getting a positive and negative answer, in this case positive negative 2. And we can see this graph right here does indeed cross at positive and negative 2. Next, we're going to take the other factor, x squared minus 9, and set it equal to 0. We're going to add 9 to both sides. And this time, when we take the square root of both sides, we get x equals plus or minus 3. And again, you can see this graph crosses at positive and negative 3. Literally the only graph that crosses at those 4 real zeros. So if you knew nothing about which way it faced, up or down, doesn't really matter. This has to be your answer choice.